earlier this summer when Justice Kennedy, it was announced that he would resign, CNN, literally within 24 hours, their top legal analysts said that Roe v. Wade would be overturned. So let me ask you this. In terms of those 3 Supreme Court justices that would be removed, do you think that's some type of corruption, or what do you think is kind of behind that?
Yeah, I believe there's some type of corruption. I believe that there's a number of things that could happen. They could be, it could be if they find out that Obama is a false president, he was not born here, everything he did is now null and void, which scratches 2 of those judges off the court immediately. And so I don't know if there's another judge that's involved. Now, here's the thing you have to watch with the prophetic. The prophetic are mysteries. God says it's a matter of God to conceal a matter. It's a matter of, or the glory of God to conceal a matter, the glory of kings to search it out. So we have to search a matter out. And when these prophecies are written, they're mysteries a lot of times. A lot of times they don't mean what we think they mean. It's not until we see them come into pass that we go, oh, that's what that means. So when God says that 3 are going to be caught in a scandal, here's what we have to understand, is that we may not, as the general public, ever hear of the scandal. Because you talk about removing 3 Supreme Court judges. Look what's going on with Judge Kavanaugh right now.
Right.
I mean, it's almost starting civil war, except for one judge. Can you imagine removing 3?
Well, and earlier today, I just checked the news, and now there's another woman that's coming out against Kavanaugh.
Right.
So the deep state is coming unglued. I mean, they're literally throwing everything they possibly can at Kavanaugh.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you can imagine 3 being caught in a scandal and removing them, man, look out. So we may never hear of it. They may be forced to so-called retire, but it's actually a scandal that's causing them to be forced to step down, if that makes sense. So that's where we have to be careful. So I do believe that's coming. So it could be a plethora of things. We've had so much corruption going on, it's not even funny. Now, on the Kavanaugh scene, I wanted to say that the reason you're seeing these people rise up like this has nothing to do with Roe versus Wade with this particular judge. And that's what they're disguising it as. If you'll notice, Hillary Clinton tweeted out, she said that if Kavanaugh is confirmed, he's going to gut Roe versus Wade. Folks, that is not why they're concerned. They're masking it as Roe versus Wade. They are concerned that when Kavanaugh gets in, it will be a solid 5-4 vote for the military tribunals. These people will be tried for treason, and some of them will be executed. And that's why they're kicking and screaming. They know this. And why do you think that line of questioning came up with Lindsey Graham the other day when he asked, I'm paraphrasing, that, hey, if a civilian commits treason, can they be charged under civil law or military law? And he said military law. That sent a shockwave like an atomic bomb through the deep state, period. And that's why they're kicking and screaming over Kavanaugh.
Mark, you and we connected last year. And then we spoke in January of this year, and you and I talked about Q. So what is your thoughts about Q? What really fascinated me was Q was validating your prophecy when you were way ahead of the curve 2 years, and you were talking about military tribunals, and then Q came onto the scene, and Q begins to validate everything you say. I was just blown away. So what are your thoughts about Q?
Q to me is absolutely legit. Q to me has been mind blowing for me, like you just talked about, and the reason I know that Q is legit is because everything he's saying is lining up with the prophecies. And I want people to understand, I take no glory and no credit for these prophecies. I give it all to the Lord Jesus Christ, who is the Spirit of prophecy. And that's how I know Q is in fact legit, is because everything he's saying is lining up with what the Lord has spoken through these prophecies.
One story I'm going to share. So Q talks about, as of right now, there's 55,000 federal sealed indictments. So earlier this year, I had lunch with a very high-level White House person. I simply asked him, I'm doing research, and I understand at the time there was about 35,000 federal sealed indictments. And he said to me, I can't answer that question for you, but all I can say is, with a smile on his face, no comment. And in my mind, that was all I needed to know.
Right.
So, in terms of the, I was going to jump over to actually, let's talk about this prophecy about two will be shaken. Two will be taken, three will be shaken about the ex-presidents.
Okay. That was called the Evil Crew of 32. I'm getting it out here. I'm turning to my prophecies. That was written January 16th, 2018, and it was talking about these leaders. Woe to you leaders who stand in the way of my agenda but call yourself mine. And the Lord was calling them basically, you brood of vipers. My divine judgment is being poured out on the leaders of the United States of America and my church. So, the two will be taken and three will be shaken. These are the five ex-presidents. When you go back to Hurricane Harvey, these guys, they were using it as a platform to attack President Trump as a fundraiser for the Hurricane Harvey relief victims. And it was nothing more than a platform to attack the president. And that's when God came out and says, I'm going to expose you guys. You guys are going to go down, and you're going to see, probably one, two, three. You're going to probably see three ex-presidents charged and possibly even go to prison. Obama is going to prison. I can tell you that that much I know. As far as the other two, there's a very good possibility that two of those could be going as well. These guys are corrupt, and we have not even scratched the surface of what's come out on these guys. So two will be taken, which means they will be removed from the face of the earth, and they will be signs for things. And three will be shaken. In other words, they will be shaken to the core, arrested, charged with treason, whatever the case may be. So you're going to see a lot of stuff coming about concerning these ex-presidents. And even it says that, yes, the Supreme Court will be shaken. So God says it again, that the Supreme Court will be shaken. They're not immune to the backdoor deal. So there's something going on the Supreme Court that nobody knows about, but God sees it all, and he's going to expose it.
It's interesting. Trump has allocated, I believe now, $300 million to renovate Gitmo. And right. So, to me, why would he be doing that unless he said, he has new customers coming? So, why would he do that?
Well, you got to look at the executive orders that he has signed also concerning military tribunals. He signed one. He has signed another one that doesn't go into effect until January, which is the big one, I believe. He's got another one he signed, I think, in December. Don't quote me on that, about where they're seizing assets, monies of people who are involved in against human rights or something like that. All of these things, and you're looking at all these things that he's doing right now, they're setting the stage for going after the deep state, for seizing their assets, seizing their money, keeping them from being able to operate. Their comms have gone dark. They can't communicate now. They're having a hard time communicating. So all these things are taking place. And what people have to understand is that you're not going to hear any of this on the mainstream media. None of it. So in order to hear this, you're going to have to follow Q or go to the president's Twitter page, which is what I tell people, follow him on Twitter and get the truth straight from the source. You're going to have to bypass the media because they are not reporting on this stuff.
Speaking of which, so if you go to whitehouse.gov, you can see the executive order that Trump signed December 21st of last year. And again, that's going after all the money and all the human trafficking, which leads me to your next prophecy. You're talking about the Vatican. I think that came to you earlier this year, but you didn't release it till a little bit later. But it says literally this is going to rock the entire world. And what's interesting about that is every day now we're hearing news about this pedophilia. So, for example, just came out last month, the state of Pennsylvania, you had 300 priests abusing over 1,000 children. Now, story came out this week, the state attorney generals in New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, Illinois, Missouri, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Wyoming are now doing investigations on the Catholic Church. So, right. Can you explain the prophecy, tell the audience, and then the little kicker at the end is there's going to be some great discovery. So, any insight right. to that as well?
Sure. I wrote it January 25th, 2018, and then there's the very last part of this prophecy on the archaeological find. I've been sitting on that for a year before I put this in the prophecy. I didn't know where it went. And so I just held on to it. The Lord, doesn't release me to release things until it's ready to go. So there's part of this prophecy that I have been sitting on for like a year. But it says the Spirit of God says the Pope and the Vatican, that's right, the Pope and the Vatican are not furthering my kingdom, but are aiding the kingdom of darkness. Many are saying that this is the last Pope, but it's not for the reasons they think. This will be the last Pope for what I, the Lord God, am about to do. I will expose this Pope and all those under his command for all the corruption he and the Vatican have been involved in for centuries. There's a shaking and quaking coming to the Pope in the Vatican, and basically what he's saying is all the stuff's going to come crumbling down. He's going to expose the inner workings of this ancient beast, so to speak. And so this is going to affect millions across the earth. This is going to affect all religions, not just the Catholic religion. This is going to affect all religions. And what the Lord is saying is my army ready? Are you ready to receive these people? Are you ready to receive my harvest that's going to take place from this exposure? Prepare yourselves for the tsunami of people that will be starving for me and have no place to turn. Prepare now, all roads lead to Rome. Now, the last part of this prophecy is what I was sitting on for a year. It says, the Spirit of God says, there is a dig, an archaeological find that is coming in an underground vault, which will be so cataclysmic that it will rock the Christian world. The answer lies between Jerusalem and Vatican City. Now, what that is, I don't know. People have thought, well, is it relics? Is it the Ark of the Covenant? It could be. It could be. I can tell you what I sense. I'm not prophesying this. I can tell you what I sense it is. I sense it's going to be scrolls, manuscripts, things that have purposely been held back from the people to keep them in turmoil, or to keep them in some type of just basically the truth. You know what I mean? They're holding back some of the truth, so to speak, of what is actually going on, or what has gone on for thousands of years. But the point is that this is going to affect all religions, all of them, period. And what people have to understand, and I don't want people just to harp on the Catholic Church, because there's corruption in every denomination out there. And that's what God's going to expose. You're going to find out that there's churches out there, that there's other even denominations that are involved in the sex trafficking, pedophilia. My gosh, they just found a couple of missionaries were with the Clinton Foundation in Haiti, child trafficking kids. So you're going to find out all this stuff's going to come out, is going to come to the surface. This is why I'm telling you, and your listeners, that there's going to be a mass exodus from the church, period.
You know, I Googled